Remember for me, I mean, we've mentioned Paris is Burning. I think Paris is Burning was the first time that I saw uh, something that was just so defiantly queer. Like it was not crafted, and I guess in a way that a movie would be. It was sort of this documentary. Um, and I remember being really impacted by that. I think for me growing up, I tended to draw, like to be drawn towards characters in YA novels who were girls because I saw my own experiences reflected more directly in them. Like I remember Blubber by Judy Blume was always like this pinnacle book for me because I was overweight as a kid, so I could kind of relate to that. But also because being that outsider, right? I mean, I think I was always drawn to books and movies that highlighted that outsider experience of that person who's not able to be themselves or whoever they are is not good enough in the eyes of everybody else. So that was a book that always stood out for me. But it was always kind of living vicariously through these characters, like even Lord of the Flies. I remember reading that in high school and, identifying with Piggy, because, because again, it's that outsider kind of, person. But I mean, I have to say that I'm so happy to see that the world of YA has exploded the way that it has, and there are so many voices now that are coming into YA, and deservedly so. That I hope that more YA readers are able to see their own experiences reflected back to them, because I was living vicariously through characters that were not living my experiences. Because in my day, a YA book that dealt with queer characters was just, I don't think there was any. And if they were so like under the radar that there would be no way that I would have ever found them. So I'm just hopeful that, the YA readers of today are growing up in an environment where they see so much of their own experiences and their queer experiences reflected back at them.
Yeah, I think for me too, I mean, growing up, I was doing a lot of kind of inserting myself into, other people's narratives because that's what we had to do. We didn't have the kind of diverse storytelling we have now. And even once I started to discover, queer art, so much of it was kind of rooted in, white American experience. It wasn't immigrant experience. And I think that's one of the reasons James Baldwin struck me so much, is it was my first experience, really reading about the intersection of queer identity with, another identity. But I have to just say, to go back to Madonna for a moment, that the thing that really comes to mind for me, and when people say like, when's the first time you saw yourself, it really was the era of Madonna's career where Vogue came out and the Truth or Dare movie came out, which is partially covered in the book. And for anyone who reads the book, the characters eventually attend the Blonde Ambition tour, which is one of the most meaningful scenes to me because that tour and that era really changed my life. And one of the reasons is that, Madonna, who at that point I had worshiped for many years, was suddenly surrounded by these queer men of color, one of whom looked very Middle Eastern. And I remember like seeing him and being like, oh my God, like at that point, I had not seen, I didn't know any queer Middle Eastern people, let alone one who was best friends with Madonna. And it was a really life-changing thing to see these men who looked, closer to what I looked like, who were living these celebratory lives. So yeah, I mean, the movie Truth or Dare really comes up as a kind of, seminal experience of seeing a version of myself on screen.